Hi everyone, welcome. We're down here in my wormery and we're checking in on a couple of my worm bins and, well, I've got some info about them before we get started, so let me share. The systems are the yellow buckets, numbers 3 and 4, and, well, they're now on day 224 of being in service. That's quite some time. They were fed 15 times overall, and it just so happened that we got into this pattern of always checking in every 2 weeks, and we've once again kept to the whole thing about, keeping to the 14 days between check-ins. And there's some novelty stuff, we may or may not bump into it down in bucket number 3, the cork, which has been going from system in system of mine for many years, and I think it's maybe gone, maybe not, I don't know. Perhaps when we harvest the system we'll stumble on it. There's also gourd. Gourd at 505 days over in bin or bucket 4. So I did not put my glove on yet. So let's get that taken care of and we can move the top covering newspaper and feeding zone indicator out of the way. A little departure from the way I usually cover. Usually my systems are covered with some sort of a plastic to keep the moisture down. But I think there's just this very huge advantage of having this tall sidewall. I think maybe a lot of the moisture that wants to waft out of here and kind of just evaporate away sort of gets caught in this higher humidity zone down here, and just any moisture moving back in, or air moving back and forth, doesn't have the opportunity to sweep it away with its moisture. It just sits here, and the paper seems to be adequate to keep it somewhat protected. Last time we conformed to the concept of not digging deep, but you know what? Instead of just starting straight into burrowing down into the feeding zone to give them their next feeding, let's do a little exploration. I guess we already got a sneak peek as to how they did on the last feeding, because I think I dug down in the middle to roughly the point where the food would have been, but looks to me like everything was eaten. But then again, I think they got stuff like cantaloupe melon rinds and coffee, some bread. Yeah, I think we even anticipated during the last check-in when we gave them those fairly fast-moving foods that we wouldn't see much as far as leftovers go. Oh, well, no, okay. I guess the one left over to expect from cantaloupe melon is the rind. Just that really thin, paper-thin outer textured material. The fact that we're finding it here as leftovers doesn't mean there's any reason for concern. It'll all go just like the rest of it, but as you can imagine, they went for the nice fleshy leftover melon that was on the rind first, and over time that stuff will soften up and become approachable as well. So it is very nice to see how the material down low looks. The concept of foraging in my worm bins usually just means that I'll continue feeding them in the late stages of their time in service, but at some point near the end I'll begin withholding the application of any new bedding, leaving them the chance to nip off any remaining leftovers of past applications of bedding. And even the foods are kind of geared up to be sort of fast moving stuff. It's funny, I don't remember ever getting so, I don't know what the right word is, but I was like leaning my whole body over to get the right angle to try to excavate down deep. The moisture, how do I explain? I guess the first impression I get when I pull a system up, either off the ground in the case of these, or even just lifting them up off the shelf to bring them over to the bench, is their weight. And I guess my first impression with these buckets number 3 and 4 is that they're both pretty heavy and seem to have all the moisture they need. So I don't think that's an area of concern. I've always got my water bottle on the ready to apply moisture where it's needed, when it's needed, but here I'm not getting that feeling, so I think we could just cut straight to the feeding of the systems. However, my my food is in a big block here. So I guess we can do what I usually try to do, which is to see if I can fairly either bust it straight down the middle, which is unlikely, but still try to keep the spirit of being fair when I try to separate it all. But you know, it seems like these bits of orange don't want to detach. Well, I've got a piece down here, but there was more, and I couldn't get this stuff to disconnect from itself. It's all stuck together in a little block. All the orange juice wants to hang together. And then I guess we've got a similar amount of greens here, I guess cauliflower leaves. But we're not done feeding yet, because I've got grit, which isn't so much a food, but more of like a little helper component of their diet. Not so much for the nutritional value or the moisture content, but more for the, well, I guess the name implies it, the grittiness of it. And, well, there are some remnants of the bedding that we must have put in here not too long ago. But at 42 days since the last time the system got bedding on its 6 months in service anniversary, I think they've come a long way. Very nice looking material, you know. I saw little bits of, you know, little bits of my shredded paper cardboard stuff, some remnants of leaves that were applied as bedding in the past, and I guess that's what we're kind of waiting on, to see if that stuff will break down neatly and get out of our hair so that we can have another batch of really lovely material. So I made it up as I went along when we checked in on the last system. So I didn't know I was going to go that thorough on stirring, but I guess what's fair is fair, right? We might as well do the same here for these guys, but now I don't have to think it through and sort it out in my head. Here we can go straight into the action that's desired, which is a good tilling up and aeration of as much of it as we can reach. A lot of times when I run these buckets for a long time and they get many feedings and lots of bedding, the level rises to a point where it's pretty tough to get all the way to the bottom and pull stuff out. And oh my goodness, the 505-day-old gourd almost slipped my mind, and I almost went haywire trying to move things around here quickly, and good thing I didn't end up busting it up, because in most cases I'm all about helping materials break down more quickly by busting them up if possible. But with that gourd, I guess since we put the day counter on it all those days ago, 505 days now, wow, we've slowly watched big, huge, massive gourds that seemed like they would never ever go anywhere gradually soften up, chip away into little itsy bitsy pieces, and practically vanish, with the exception of this last large hunk over here. So I get this feeling like this material in this bucket here is a little bit more damp than what we were seeing in bucket 3. Not by much, just a bit. So I don't think there's any reason for concern or the need to take any extra measures. I suppose we could always just skip covering and then give the chance for some evaporation to occur here. And, well, I don't know, should we? Let's not forget the grit and some coffee. And, oh, okay, well, that's almost all of it. I think that's where we are. Very nice, very nice. So, I like the idea of being a little bit more restrained on coverings. Perhaps we can just go with the very lightweight single layer and smaller feeding zone indicator and leave off the top covering, perhaps for just one round, to see if we might lose a little bit of the system's moisture, and maybe we'll be more pleased with the feel of it not being so muddy. So, well, let's take it from here, make the next decision next time we check in, very likely in 2 weeks. All right, everyone, that's it for the check-in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated, and if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.